Hi, I'm Ben UI. Today we're going to be talking about how to set up in-world UI widgets using Unreal Engine and C++. So this is semi-live, so it's going to be kind of rough and ready, but let's talk a bit about what we're trying to achieve today. So say if we've got an actor in the world, which could be a little dog like this. Beautiful. And we want to show some UI above its head. Like typically that might be like a health bar. So you'd want to show their health and say, oh, it's X%. And you'd say, oh, they've got 73 of 100 health. So this would be on our actor of type dog. So in order to show this in the world, what we'll be doing today is we'll be attaching a new widget component. Excuse the bad handwriting. That is going to create and own a user widget, which is going to be a blueprint that we set up our health bar and text. And then that widget will know how to set its health by having a weak pointer back to its owning dog. This will be a T weak object pointer. This will all make sense later when we do it. I'm just trying to give a rough overview of what we're trying to do today. And then every tick, it will update itself. That's kind of the rough thing, the rough flow today. You'll have a dog, it will set up a component, which will create a widget, and then it will update based on a pointer. Okay, so enough theory. Let's get on to some actual Unreal. Okay, so this is our beautiful test scene with a bunch of really just fantastic looking dogs using all of the power of Unreal. So I've set up some example code so they just kind of creepily float around. This will show that their health bars are like properly attached to their head and not just, stuck at 0, 0, 0, which has been known to happen. Okay, so you can see just BP dog is a parent class dog, which is a C++ class, and we've got a bunch of just kind of dummy meshes here. So if we go to Visual Studio, we can see that dog is an actor. It's got some health, max health, and some stuff I've used here just to kind of make it move around. And yeah, this is basically sort of a standard setup. In tick, I've made it so the health will bounce between 0 and the max health, just so we can see our widget be updated. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is go back to Visual Studio, not Visual Studio, go back to Unreal, and we're going to want to create a new C++ class, which is going to be a user widget subclass, and we'll call it health bar. I'll create that. Okay, we've got to recompile before it's going to appear. That's fine. We're going to close the Unreal editor anyway at some point. Might as well do that now. Okay, so it's added our new health bar to the project. Okay, so our health bar, this is kind of what we've done before when I've talked about how to do C++ based user widgets. I like making these abstract because that means you're not going to accidentally pick them in the drop down list when you're choosing user widgets, because we actually want the blueprint user widget. We don't actually want to try and select this C++ user widget. Okay, so we're going to need a so this making a uProperty bind widget means that it will be accessible from the blueprint, and so we're going to need if we go back to what we're trying to make a really cool looking health bar here. So we're going to need a progress bar for this kind of part. And then we're going to need two text parts for the actual numbers. So we're going to have a new progress bar. Call that health bar. And we're going to need a text block. We'll call our current health label. And then we're going to need a max one as well, max health label. Then what we're going to, we'll set this up first, and then we'll go back to the problem of connecting it to the dog, just so we don't do too many steps in one go. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's do it in 2 steps. Okay, so I'll compile, and now we're going to make the visual component, the visual part of our health bar, which is going to be a blueprint subclass. Oh, what did I mess up there? Oh, because it doesn't know what these are, I'm going to have to forward declare them. We don't want to bother including those in the header. I mean, we're not actually using these in the C++ right now because we're not doing the update to actually, set the variables, but we'll do it in a second. Okay, so now we're going to want to create a blueprint subclass of health bar. I'm going to call it widget blueprint health bar. Okay, let's put it on the other window, the other screen. Okay, so first of all, it's reminding us down here that we need a widget binding. We need to create a progress bar called health bar, and we need to create a text block called current health label. So we're going to lay these all out horizontally. Call that health bar. This will be our current health label. And let's just put a slash in there. This is not particularly nice, but rough and ready. We'll put a slash in between them. And then max health. Cool. So I want to see how it is going to look on screen. So if we set it to desired, this is like what it will try and render as. So that's, give it some sensible example text. So let's do 70 and say 100 here. Okay, that's too short. So we want this health bar to be at least a certain size. So we're going to use the size box. So if we click on the size box we just created, we want it to be, let's say, I don't know, 200. 2. And let's make some space between it and the text. I don't know, 5, 10. Enough. Yeah, that's pretty good. And it's going to be, let's make it green because, health bar. Now I don't want to update the project. There we go. Okay, we can kind of test what that looks like. There we go, that'll do. Okay, so now we've got our what we want our health bar to look like. We need to work out how to create it and connect it to the dog. So in the dog, what we could do is you could just do add component widget here. That's fine, but we're just going to do it from C++ because it's a C++ tutorial. So if we close this for now and go back to our dog, what we want is to create, so it's going to be a U property because it's going to be our widget component, and we want to be able to edit its properties. So we're going to set it to be visible anywhere. So forward declare it. So now if we go into the body, we want to set it up in the constructor like we have with this root component. So health widget comp. So we use the object initializer to create a default subobject, just like we have with our root component there. It's going to be a UWidget component. Attach it to this. Well, the owner will be this. We'll call it, I don't know, health bar. Seems pretty sensible. We want to attach it to the root component so it doesn't move. We want it to be like stuck to our dog's head. Okay, that's pretty much it. So when we go back into Unreal and we run Unreal again, we should see that there's a, oh, we need to actually include this scene. That's not right. Not the scene component, it's a UWidget component. There we go. That's Visual Assist X that does the including for me there. I'm being lazy. Let's see if that builds, if I haven't messed anything up. Ooh. So now we can check in Unreal that the widget is actually created there when we look at the dog. Woo! We've got a health widget comp. In the viewpoint, we can see where it is. And, oh, it's being spawned at 0, 0. That's kind of annoying. So we can just drag it up and put it on top of the dog's head. So by default, there's nothing. This is where you actually want to check the settings. So we want it to be rendered in screen space. World space would mean that as you get further away from it, it's going to get smaller. And screen space means that it's always going to kind of stay on screen the same size, and as it says, it's never going to be occluded. So which widget do we want to show? We want to show our health bar. So you can, for the drawing size, you can specifically set the draw size here, which would have the effect of, instead of this being rendered at the desired size, it would be rendered at 500 by 500 or whatever you choose, which is not what we want here. I mean, we could have done it where instead of using a size box around the health bar, we could have said, okay, always render it at, you know, this size, and make sure the size box like fills the widget, you know. So you could do it that way, but I think we just want to make it render at the desired size, because I kind of prefer the controlling of the size, the appearance, to be done in the widget itself rather than in the this widget component. Okay, so we're going to draw at the desired size and set the pivot to be 0, 0, so 0.5, 0.5, so it's going to be drawing centered. And then if we run our test scene, we should see that it shows its default state and doesn't actually update. So let's go to test scene. Woo! Okay, so we're halfway there. We're rendering a bunch of health bars. They're all clipping on top of each other, but yeah, we can deal with that another time. So now we need to make sure that the health bar knows the health of the dog and actually updates. So this will be the second or third part. I forget what number we're on. Okay, so what we want is we want our health bar to know who its owner is, like which dog is the one that it's attached to. The way I'm going to do that, we're going to have a weak object pointer to a dog, we'll call it owner dog. And then of course we need someone to set up that pointer, so we'll have a new function called set owner dog. Okay, let me Need to include this here. I don't think forward declaration works because TObjectPointer needs to know that the thing it's pointing to is a subclass of UObject. So kind of sucks. Maybe there's a way around it. Okay, so assuming that we've got a dog set up, when this renders, we want to get the current health of the dog. So we're going to implement the, ooh, where's that gone? There we go. We're going to implement the tick function. Put that on the top here. I like having my functions towards the top. Okay, so in native tick, we're going to say if our owner dog is valid. Actually, no, if it's not valid, let's just return. So we know that our owner dog is valid, so we can get the current health. Ooh. Well, let's get health, I think, actually. There we go, get health. So we're going to want to set the text box. Do the text box first. Actually, no, let's do the progress bar. So progress, and it's called health bar. Health bar set %. So we get the health and divide it by max health. So we're going to need to include progress bar, so that works. And then we'll do the, was it the current health label? Yeah, current health label. So it's a float, but I kind of want to just display it as a integer. So I'm going to do what is it? Number formatting options. This is for f text. So set maximum fractional digits to 0. There we go. That should show the current health as an integer. I'm going to do the same for the max health. And we'll need to include text block. So let's see if that actually compiles. So the reason we're using a t-weak object pointer here is I don't really want the health bar to have like a, you know, uProperties pointer back to the owner, because I don't know, the dog will point to the widget and then the widget will point to the dog. It just seems not right. Like the widget is not important, so it should be a weak object pointer because it's not really the owner of the dog. And it's also useful because you can say, oh well, maybe the dog's been destroyed and we're still ticking because we haven't been garbage collected yet. So we can, you know, more safely do our tick this way. Okay, so that compiled. Okay, so we're still not quite there because there's nothing calling set owner dog yet. So in the dog, at the end of begin play, I could do the beginning of begin play. So our health widget comp, we're going to want to get the user widget, get the user widget object. I'm going to cast it to health bar. Did we include health bar in the start? Oops. No, we didn't. We need to include it here. So on begin play, we should be okay to set up, because the user widget object should be instantiated by then. I mean, there might be another function to do this earlier, like initialize components, but this will do for now. Ooh, what did I miss? Oh. Oh, yeah, okay. So I guess generated body puts you as private because class is private. Yeah. Okay. That should be okay. So then we should be good to go. Okay, let's give it a go. See what crashes. Woo! So you can see their health is ticking up and down randomly as I set them internally to do. And it's setting the max health, the current health, and the percentage on the health bar. And that's it. So we can try playing with some of the settings if we want to see what it looks like at the different in world. We change it to world, and we render at the desired size. We're rendering on a plane. Sure, let's see what happens. Ooh, what's real time? Ah. Okay. Oh, shows you a preview. Great. So I guess they're not set to be billboards, so they're not facing the player. So I mean, this has some debatable usage. On this there. And it's not double-sided. Huh. Yeah, I don't generally use the world space one. Okay, so the code for this will be on my website underneath the video. Let me know if this has been helpful or not helpful. And yeah, see you next time.